Part 1003 Community Development Block Grants for Indian Tribes in Alaska Native Villages Authority, 42 U.S.C. 3535D, and 5301 at C. Source: 61 FR 40090, July 31, 1996, unless otherwise noted. Redesignated at 62 FR 12349, March 12, 1998. Subpart A. General Provisions Section 1003.1 Applicability and Scope. The policies and procedures described in this part apply to grants to eligible applicants under the Community Development Block Grant (CDBG) program for Indian tribes in Alaska Native Villages. Section 1003.2 Program Objective. The primary objective of the Indian CDBG (ICDBG) program and of the Community Development Program of each grantee covered under the Act is the development of viable Indian and Alaska Native communities, including decent housing, a suitable living environment, and economic opportunities, principally for persons of low and moderate income. The federal assistance provided in this part is not to be used to reduce substantially the amount of tribal financial support for community development activities below the level of such support before the availability of this assistance. Section 1003.3 Nature of Program. The selection of single-purpose grantees under Subpart B of this part is competitive in nature. Therefore, selection of grantees for funds will reflect consideration of the relative adequacy of applications in addressing tribally determined need. The selection of grantees of imminent threat grants under the provisions of Subpart B of this part is not competitive in nature. However, applicants for funding under either subpart must have the administrative capacity to undertake the community development activities proposed, including the systems of internal control necessary to administer these activities effectively without fraud, waste, or mismanagement. Section 1003.4 Definitions. Eligible Indian population means the most accurate and uniform population data available from data compiled and published by the United States Bureau of the Census available from the latest census referable to the same point or period of time for Indian tribes in Alaska Native villages eligible under this part. Section 1003.4 Definitions. Act means Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, as amended 42 U.S.C. 5301 at C. Area O and APS mean the HUD offices of Native American programs having field office responsibility for the ICDBG program. Assistant Secretary means the Assistant Secretary for Public and Indian Housing. Buildings for the general conduct of government mean office buildings and other facilities in which the legislative, judicial or general administrative affairs of the government are conducted. This term does not include such facilities as neighborhood service centers or special-purpose buildings located in low and moderate income areas that house various non-legislative functions or services provided by the government at decentralized locations. Chief Executive Officer means the elected official or legally designated official who has the prime responsibility for the conduct of the affairs of an Indian tribe or Alaska Native village. Eligible Indian population means the most accurate and uniform population data available from data compiled and published by the United States Bureau of the Census available from the latest census referable to the same point or period of time for Indian tribes in Alaska Native villages eligible under this part. Extent of overcrowded housing means the number of housing units with 1.01 or more persons per room, based on data compiled and published by the United States Bureau of the Census available from the latest census referable to the same point or period of time. Extent of poverty means the number of persons whose incomes are below the poverty level, based on data compiled and published by the United States Bureau of the Census referable to the same point or period in time and the latest reports from the Office of Management and Budget. HUD means the Department of Housing and Urban Development. ICDBG program means the Indian Community Development Block Grant Program. Identified Service Area means 1. A geographic location within the jurisdiction of a tribe but not the entire jurisdiction, designated in comprehensive plans, ordinances, or other tribal documents as a service area. 2. The Bureau of Indian Affairs (BIA) service area, including residents of areas outside the geographic jurisdiction of the tribe. Or 3. The entire area under the jurisdiction of a tribe which has a population of members of under 10,000. Imminent threat means a problem which, if unresolved or not addressed, will have an immediate negative impact on public health or safety. Low and moderate income beneficiary means a family, household, or individual whose income does not exceed 80% of the median income for the area, as determined by HUD, with adjustments for smaller and larger households or families. However, HUD may establish income ceilings higher or lower than 80% of the median for the area on the basis of HUD's findings that such variations are necessary because of unusually high or low household or family incomes. In reporting income levels to HUD, the applicant must include and identify the distributions of tribal or village income to families, households, or individuals. Microenterprise means a business that has 5 or fewer employees, one or more of whom owns the enterprise. Secretary means the secretary of HUD. Small business means a business that meets the criteria set forth in Section 3A of the Small Business Act, 15 U.S.C. 631, 636, and 637. Subrecipient means a public or private nonprofit agency, authority or organization, or a for-profit entity described in Section 1003.201(1), receiving ICDBG funds from the grantee or another subret. Recipient to undertake activities eligible for assistance under Subpart C of this part. The term excludes a CBDO receiving ICDBG funds from the grantee under the authority of Section 1003.204, unless the grantee explicitly designates it as a subrecipient. The term does not include contractors providing supplies, equipment, construction or services subject to the procurement requirements in 2 CFR 200.318 through 200.326. Tribal government. Tribal governing body or tribal council means the governing body of an Indian tribe or Alaska Native village as recognized by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Tribal resolution means the formal manner in which the tribal government expresses its legislative will in accordance with its organic documents. In the absence of such organic documents, a written expression adopted pursuant to tribal practices will be acceptable. URA means the Uniform Relocation and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970, as amended, 42 U.S.C. 4601 et. C. 62 F.R. 12349, March 12, 1998, as amended at 80 F.R. 75944, December 7, 2015, Section 1003.5. Eligible applicants. A. Eligible applicants are any Indian tribe, band, group, or nation, including Alaska Indians, Aleuts, and Eskimos, and any Alaska Native village of the United States which is considered an eligible recipient under Title I of the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act, 25 U.S.C. 450, or which had been an eligible recipient under the State and Local Fiscal Assistance Act of 1972, 31 U.S.C. 1221. Eligible recipients under the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act will be determined by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and eligible recipients under the State and Local Fiscal Assistance Act of 1972 are those that have been determined eligible by the Department of Treasury, Office of Revenue Sharing. B. Tribal organizations which are eligible under Title I of the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act may apply on behalf of any Indian tribe, band, group, nation, or Alaska Native village eligible under that act for funds under this part when one or more of these entities have authorized the tribal organization to do so through concurring resolutions. Such resolutions must accompany the application for funding. Eligible tribal organizations under Title I of the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act will be determined by the Bureau of Indian Affairs or the Indian Health Service, as appropriate. To apply for funding in a given fiscal year, an applicant must be eligible as an Indian tribe or Alaska Native village, as provided in paragraph A of this section, or as a tribal organization, as provided in paragraph B of this section, by the application submission date. Approved by the Office of Management and Budget under Control Number 2577-0191.
Use it. Use it. Use it.